first off, congratulations on the film, guys.
Thank you.
Jessie, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you
and Jeff, I mean, it's an honor, longtime fan, and I want to take a moment to say thanks for those couple of sleepless nights I had when I was young with a little film you did, The Fly.
Really?
I
apologize. I'm sorry.
I knew where I was going. That scene with the arm wrestling, I mean, I still get the chills with that.
That was tough. You ever see that? You ever see this one?
Yeah.
You know who that was? George Chuvalo.
Ugh.
He was a former Canadian heavyweight champion, and he fought Muhammad Ali.
Wow,
That
really?
guy. Yes, I had seen his fight, you know, and then they said, "Oh, you're going to be doing the scene with him." Yep, George Chuvalo.
So I want to appreciate, and of course, all the Independence Day films and Jurassic Park.
You're so sweet.
So I want to start with Jessie. Jessie, it's been 20 years since the original, so I wanted to ask you, how old were you when you first saw the original from '96, and how the film impacted you? I mean, did it set you on a path to do the acting thing?
I was 4 years old at the time, and believe it or not, actually, I did start acting around that time, but it wasn't.
When you were 4?
I started acting when I was 4 years old, but it wasn't directly influenced from Independence Day. It was my older sister was an actress. I kind of followed her.
Oh, shoot.
But this was a film, you know, you see it every year, every summer. They kind of, you know, and you can't help but watch it. I was always a huge Will Smith fan, and I watched a lot of his work. And
Do you have a favorite favorite moment from the film that you had?
From Will Smith's?
Yeah. The punching?
The punching was pretty good.
That's
The
pretty badass.
the punching was pretty good. But you know what? I honestly like the scene when he's dragging the alien through the desert after, in the parachute. And the stuff that he's yelling, could have been a barbecue, all that kind of stuff. That to me was hilarious. I love those moments from him. You know, he and Jeff had a great moment at the end with cigars and all that. That was all very iconic moments.
Yeah, that's the word. So Jeff, the same. There's 20 years since that. Did you have can you tell me one of your fondest memories of the original? And now that's 20 years later, do you still get nervous as you did back then? And is the pressure the same to deliver a good film for the fans? Is it the same thing 20 years later? Do you feel the same thing?
That's so interesting. The first movie, you know, I remember all of it was fun. I don't know that any one thing sticks out. Working with Roland was great, and he had Will and I improvising and making stuff up, and we had a good time doing that. Pressure, 20 years, you know, I'm trying to get better, and one of the ways that I feel like I'm improving is in my relaxation, frankly. So I try to play freely, but I did feel on this one, a responsibility to do my conscientious best. So, you know, I felt that, but once I got with the actors, you know, it was very fun and playful. Roland is a really good director, and it was a dreamy actory experience for me.
Now that you mention Roland, I mean, he's the king of the end of the world scenario films and devastation and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Jessie, for you to work for the first time with him, can you tell me a little bit about that experience? And then Jeff, has his style changed in any way behind the camera? I want to take your take, both takes on with working with Roland.
You know, Roland was interestingly trusting. I thought, you know, when I imagined what it must take for a director to handle a film like this, I would think they would be very specific about what they want everyone to do because it all has to fit. But Roland was very trusting. He kind of, on a day-to-day, you know, he would say, well, this is what we have, this is what the scene is, this is what I want, do whatever you want with that. And I was impressed, I was surprised, very surprised. You know, I'm thinking, how is he going to piece this together if I'm doing literally 20 different versions of this piece of the scene, and then 20 different versions of that piece of the scene, and then this conversation has evolutionized from what it is on the page till by the time we finished. You know, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it, but somehow, some way, you know, he's a genius.
Did you feel overwhelmed in this kind of movie? It's a big budget, a blockbuster movie. At any time. I mean,
not necessarily, because, you know, my job is the same regardless. You know, I'm in the moment no matter what, and no matter how ludicrous the situation may be or how grounded the situation is, you know, whether I'm sitting there, I'm talking to someone in a very serious conversation, or I'm in my jet flying from an alien and chasing and, you know, doing this and that or whatever, you have to believe it the same way, so not necessarily, no.
And yet, has his style changed a little bit? His way of working with the actors in 20 years, or is this pretty much the same?
I think pretty much the same, but he's done so many movies
Yeah,
since then. He was young, and at the beginning, back then, I think he's much more confident, and savvy about working with actors even, and doing what you said, which is he's very prepared, but let's see what the actors does. As he says, and other people have said, it's in the casting. If you cast wonderful people and nice people too, he wants to have a nice experience too. He's a very sweet guy, let him go. But then I found that he did that. I felt trusted and a co-collaborator. But then he's very specific, and maybe even more than I remember, where he'd say, okay, he's very decisive. He'd say, he has a kind of a phrase, a habitual phrase. He goes, look, it's very simple. He'd start out saying, it's very simple. And I'm very happy to say, I'd say, well, show me. How do you imagine it? And he'd kind of act it out, and he had very specific ideas for the moments. But he was in a creative, on the set, even though the whole thing was worked out, he was in a creative surge, so he would be working with the writers and the actors and kind of figuring out, the best way. He was in a playful kind of creative way. And it was fun to work with him like that. Really, really good.
Jessie, I read somewhere that you guys did an insane amount of, green screen, soundstage, digital stuff, physical stuff. Was that fun, the whole experience, and did it sometimes could be become tiresome and challenging because you're working look at here, look over there, jump.
Yeah, physically challenging sometimes. There was
You gotta be in shape. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you weren't, you were gonna get in shape. But it was like being on a playground again. And you pretending the ground is lava and that you have to take the monkey bars across it. It was kind of like that. They have these sets that are built, and it's things that they're saying this hole is a trench and this is that, and you just use your imagination and you kind of just jump in, you play, you believe it yourself, and hope that it doesn't look ridiculous.
Imagine of that, yeah. With the advancement in technology the last 20 years, does it make it for an actor like yourself easier nowadays to do movies like this one with all the digital stuff and green screens and stuff, or is it more challenging nowadays?
It felt to me kind of like the same. You're still got scenes, and you got to work out the scenes and make the moments. But there is a part of the new technology, like I think you were talking about before, where they can clue you in a little better and more specifically and thoroughly about what it is you're pretending to see. Even on the monitor, which you have. You do a rehearsal or you do a shot, and then they lay in these images of an alien or other fighters or whatever is going on, so that allows you to really see what the illusion is that you're trying to create. So that was better and helpful.
And before leaving, I got just one quick fan question from Puerto Rico. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's Jessie from Samuel Perez Garcia. I wanted to ask you, if your character had to choose from leading the strike against the mothership in Independence 4 or the Death Star from Star Wars, which one would you like to lead?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Independence Day. This was
good choice.
This was larger scale. This was different in quite a few ways. So I think it leaves me to some true heroism to be able to get into something that's unfamiliar and try to find a way to work it out.
Those are two good options, anyways.
Oh yeah, no, those are two very great options.
And Jeff, Pamela E. Navarro, Puerto Rico.
Really?
As you did with this movie, with ID's Resurgence,
Yes.
Would you be open to returning to the character Dr. Ian Malcolm in future Jurassic World films?
Oh, that's an interesting idea. Sure, I'm nothing if not open. I'm open, but I had if nothing ever happened, I'd be totally satisfied with the two I did. I had a very,
Yes.
very full and satisfying experience, you know.
Well, guys, thanks for
Thank
a
you.
little bit of your
Thank you
time.
so much.
Wish you the best. Thank you very much.
Drop in section, climb Angels 25, Vector 330.